Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the one more effective strategies especially for the science teachers, which is PBL. PBL, project based learning. So in this mainly the teacher will act as a facilitator. Instead of giving the step by step performance what the student has to do, we will be just increasing the curiosity of the students by giving the open-ended challenge or asking the open-ended questions where the children will be observing and experimenting and finding out the results. So usually the project-based learnings will increase the curiosity and the anxiety levels of the students, because sometimes if we are giving the all the things the teachers are teaching, the students will have nothing to do. So as a facilitator, I sometimes utilize my classroom as giving the project based activities. So one among the activity I am going to show to you all here. This is a simple science fair project. So I have given for the students, they have to just check the solubility of the different materials. Here I have taken the example of the student who has used the skittles, whether they dissolve in the water or not, or what is the solubility level in the different type of liquids. Here the purpose of the science fair project is to test the three liquids, in which of the liquid the skittles dissolve fastest. So here the student has used her creativity to identify whether the skittles will dissolve in all these three liquids. If they dissolve, what is the time taken for each liquid. So here you can see the cup filled with the water, cup filled with the vinegar, cup filled with the oil. You can think meanwhile, out of all these three liquids, which liquid will make the skittles dissolve fastest. So I can tell as a teacher based on the density in which liquid the skittle will dissolve, but that will be giving the facts. So the students will be learning, but there is a probability they may forget faster. That's the reason I use the project based learning. So the child will, when you are really involving and performing the experiment, it will stay in your mind for the longer time. We all know that the children likes to eat skittles, but as a science teacher, I encourage them to, instead of eating the skittles, experiment with the skittles. These are the basic materials which we have available in the all the science labs. Because if not, also they are not the very expensive things. So you can ask them to buy if they are ready to purchase. If not, as a teacher, you can just purchase these basic materials. Definitely not out of your pocket, but you can request the school. So these are the simple items the school can provide for you. So here you can see that what are the independent variables, what are the dependent variables. Here if you look at what is the meaning of the dependent variable. The dependent variables over here is the skittles, and the liquids are the independent, because there is no correlation between these three liquids. One is a water, other one is a vinegar, and other one is a oil. So end of the results, sometimes you may ask like project based learnings requires more time. Yes, I am not saying that this whole project you have to complete within the same class period. Sometimes it can be the extended period, sometimes it can be depending upon the ability of the students you are having in the class. Sometimes if you want the children to work from the home also, these projects can be useful for them to learn. So the next day you can correct them according to what they find out, what went wrong, and if they find out the information. As a teacher, when you look at the results, you can see here in the water the skittles dissolved is like closer to the 2 minutes 8 seconds, and in the vinegar 2 minutes 23 seconds. In the oil 00, that shows that the oil never dissolved the skittles over 40 minutes. The student has taken and observed up to 40 minutes, but it's not necessary to wait that long. But if you look at the 2 minutes and 2 minutes water and vinegar is dissolving the skittles, but the oil is not dissolving. So that way the child starts thinking that same skittle, same size of the cup, same amount of the liquid, but what is the difference? Why the skittles are not dissolved in the oil? Because the oil is denser out of all these three liquids. So you can explain the student that how the density is depending upon the solubility test, or what is the correlation between these two topics. So that way the children will be performing and you are just facilitating them instead of giving the direct answer when they enter into the classroom. Take the notebook and define density, or facts about the density. If you are giving the guided notes, definitely they will learn, but they easily forget. So these are the advantages of taking the class or using your class time as a more effective way for the science teachers is by following the techniques of the project based learning, PBL, project based learning. So sometimes these projects can be individual, sometimes it can be group, according to the availability of the resources you are having, according to the strength of your class. Because if 30 students are there and you don't want everyone to work independently, you can divide them into the groups. So definitely somebody can create the purpose of the investigation or the project, and someone can observe, somebody can collect all the materials from the teacher desk and arrange them, someone can note the recording the results. So this is how everybody is engaged, and at the same time what they learn through the experiments, through the real life activities, it will stay in forever, for longer time. So this is one way I encourage my students to get involved and learn more better. Hope you understand.